I, U, O, A, O. Hi, I'm Duncan. This is the first of a series of videos to help you understand and hopefully to help you revise your knowledge of phonology. As you probably guessed, we are looking today at the monophthongs. These are the vowel sounds in this part of the phonemic chart. This is Adrian Underhill's chart. What we'll be looking at is the sounds themselves and a little bit about his rationale, why he's organised them like that, and what that organisation signifies. So we'll be doing some drilling, okay, as well. First of all, let's just look at perhaps the most obvious thing about these sounds. As we drilled them there, you notice that 5 of them, I, U, O, R, all have 2 dots after them, and that signifies that they are long vowels. At least they're called long vowels. This doesn't mean that in terms of if we time them in milliseconds they would take longer to say necessarily, but for the sake of convenience we call them long sounds because they kind of sound long. At least they can be continued. If you try and hold a note with this, U, you can see it's a continuous sound. It can go on. Whereas with the short vowels, I, E, A, you can't make a continuous sound. So they're long vowels, but as I say, that doesn't mean we go around saying sheep and ship like that. Of course, it's an exaggeration, but one that can be very helpful to learners, I think. Okay, now let's have a look a little bit at the organisation. And to do this, we're going to first of all do a couple of sort of demonstrations that help to illustrate that. For the first one, what you need to do is put your forefinger on your nose and your thumb on your chin, like that, okay? And then just repeat the sounds after me and see what you notice. We're going to start at the top and go down, okay? I, E, A, I, A, U, A, U, O, O. And what you should have noticed there, or possibly even seen if you were watching my sort of facial movements, was that as we went down on the chart, then our jaw dropped, or our mouth opened. So we had E, and then we went down to A, 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 O. These are all open vowels, and they're called open because the jaw is lower and the mouth is more open, okay? And these are the sounds the dentist would ask you to make if you wanted to see in your mouth. He wouldn't say E, because he wouldn't be able to get in there, would he? So say okay? And the vowels here at the top then are called closed vowels. So we have closed and open, and that's the logic there. Now let's look at the crossways pattern. And to do this you need a pen or pencil or something. There we are, and you stick it in your mouth just behind your front teeth, out like that, okay? And again, we're going to repeat the vowels. E, U, U, E, O, A, O. What you noticed hopefully there, this is a little bit more tricky because the tongue is sort of moving around, not on a horizontal plane exactly, but you probably noticed that your tongue was kind of touching the pen when you began, but by the time we got here, it had moved back and it wasn't touching the pen anymore. Just try that again. E, U, E, O. In fact, one good way of doing this, and one that Underhill often recommends, which I find quite useful, is to try and say the sound in the wrong position. So if you put your pen there and you try to say this sound with the tongue at the front, you You can't do it, obviously. And the same the other way around, yeah? If you try and say this with the tongue at the back, it can't really come out. Okay? So, we've got front and back vowels. Okay? So now we've got two coordinates, and that's how we can describe vowels, and that's the organisation here. So, for example, this vowel here, we've said it's closed, with the mouth like this, and it's also front, because the tongue is touching the pen. The tongue is nearer the front of the mouth. So that would be a closed front vowel, E. The opposite would be this vowel, O. It's not at the front, it's at the back, and it's not closed, it's open. So it's an open back vowel, O, etc. And the ones in the middle, surprisingly enough, are called mid-vowels. That's probably enough for today anyway. Just to recap, we've looked at length of vowels and the continuity of the sound and how that's represented by the dots on the chart. And we've also looked at the organisation of these 12 vowels in English and discovered or noticed that according to the sound we're making, we can open or close our mouth, and we can go from front to back. Yeah. So when you're thinking about vowels and describing them, that's going to help you and hopefully help your students in producing the sounds that they found difficult. Okay. In future presentations, we'll be looking at the diphthongs and the consonant sounds as well. Thank you.